Every summer now, headlines about big fires burning in the American West dominate the daily news. Ghastly photos show whole mountains on fire, with flames hundreds of feet tall. Firefighters try their best to put the flames out, but these big fires burn for weeks, seemingly impossible to extinguish.
In the end, fires reach thousands to millions of acres, often with dead trees everywhere. Inevitably, houses are lost, causing grief to families suddenly homeless and without their life's possessions. Occasionally, human life is lost. By almost any measure, such fires are disasters.
The typical questions arise about ecological catastrophes. How did this happen, and what does it mean for today?
Bad as Western forest fire has been recently, a question arises. Is this kind of fire, large and intense, and killing many trees, different from fires of the past? If not, then maybe forest fires today, bad as they seem, don't qualify as an ecological catastrophe.
A subdiscipline of dendrochronology, tree ring science, is dedicated to studying fires of the past. Many fires only scar trees as opposed to killing them outright, and those trees continue recording fires throughout their lengthy lives.
Fire-scarred trees are distinctive and reasonably easy to spot out in the woods. Cross-sections from fire-scarred trees give a timeline of fire of the past.
This section from a stump of a giant sequoia in the Sierra Nevada takes the cake for beauty as well as for overall number of fires recorded, over 100 fires across a span of 1,000 years.
A couple of things can be concluded right away from a fire-scarred specimen like this. One, fires occurred frequently in the past, as often as every 10 years for any given tree. Therefore, fire must have occurred virtually every year across all forests of the West. In terms of frequency, fire today isn't all that different from fire of the past.
2, the fires of the past that merely scarred trees must have been of low intensity, burning as surface fires. Sure, every now and then, a past fire had to have grown into a severe tree-killing event, but that couldn't have been the typical outcome given that trees lived for hundreds of years, recording fires every 10 years. In this sense, fire today is different from the past.
The data set for any given fire history collection looks like this. Each horizontal line is a tree with the length of the line spanning its lifetime. Vertical tick marks are dates of fires recorded by each tree, which are brought down into a composite expression for the site.
Many of these fire history charts across mid-elevation conifer forests throughout the West show frequent low-intensity fires prior to the late 1800s. Then, few, if any, fires were recorded after 1900.
When viewed across several sites, like here from northern New Mexico, this pattern is consistent.
And when viewed across a whole region, like here from New Mexico and Arizona, this pattern is still consistent.
And when viewed across the entire West, still consistent. This abrupt reduction in low-intensity fires throughout western forests before 1900 is one of the great ecological changes in U.S. history.
Multiple reasons explain this significant ecological shift, one in particular being an active management goal of eliminating fire from western forests.
A pivotal moment in western forestry was the so-called Big Burn of 1910, when 3 million acres burned across northern Idaho and northwestern Montana.
The Big Burn killed millions of trees, and 87 people also lost their lives. In response, America said, never again.
One way to eliminate large, high-intensity forest fires is to put fires out as soon as they start when they're still small. To do this, fire towers, several thousand of them, were erected in forests across the U.S.
From lofty lookouts, staffers ceaselessly scanned the forest for smoke. Upon spotting the merest puff of smoke, they found its location with the venerable Osborne firefinder, and they called it in.
Fire crews would arrive at the fire quickly while it was still small and put it out. Early detection of smoke was key to stopping fire. Fire lookout staffer Philip Connors describes fire towers.
You know that you have to be paying attention moment by moment. And the fact that the fire went from 0 to 1,000 acres in an afternoon just shows that early rapid detection is crucial in order to give firefighters any kind of chance of catching a fire like that.
At first, fire suppression was successful, effectively reducing total area burned and keeping it low for years. Forest managers undoubtedly were pleased with these early results.
However, without those small fires, which again had been frequent according to fire history data, forest fuels slowly but surely built up in the form of grasses, dropped branches, downed logs, and new young trees that would have burned up in low-intensity fires.
After years of putting out small fires, high fuel loadings started increasing the intensity of fires before they could be extinguished. Now, not a year goes by without a large, hot fire killing lots of trees across the West.
Since 1900, most of the record large fires in each state have occurred recently. Large, high-intensity tree-killing fires are now inevitable every year in the West. Again, Philip Connors.
I agree. Early detection and rapid response to put out fires is a big reason why we are in the pickle we're in now.
This new normal, the wholesale alteration of fire regimes across conifer forests of western North America, constitutes a great ecological catastrophe.
This summary graphic illustrates the catastrophe. Prior to 1900, forests were stable and healthy, in part because fires burned frequently with little impact. Since 1900, forests have become destabilized, unhealthy, because fires are more severe.
To return fire to a more natural role in western forests, two main tools exist. Controlled burning, where fires are started on purpose. Sounds good, but every now and then, control of a controlled burn is lost, and then it becomes a major wildfire, causing the public to wonder, why, again, are we starting fires on purpose?
Mechanical thinning, that is, cutting trees out by hand. This avoids the risks of controlled burn, but it is slow and expensive. The small cut trees don't create much in the way of forestry income.
A third option combines the first two, cutting small trees and piling them up to be burned at a later date. This avoids the downside of losing a controlled burn, but this is still slow and expensive.
Either way, millions of acres of forest across western states need fuels treatment. Reducing fuel loading in western forests is truly Sisyphean.
This ecological catastrophe has lessons for modern environmental issues, including global warming. This situation illustrates the law of unintended consequences. At first glance, the fire lookout system was the very model of an excellent outcome, reducing forest fires. It didn't intend to create heavy fuel loads and unmanageable fires nearly every year now.
Likewise, when humanity switched from wood to fossil fuels for energy, it didn't intend to warm the atmosphere so that today the world would be facing the potential catastrophe of global warming.
There's no quick fix. It took decades to get into this situation of high fuel loads across western forests, and it will take decades to get out of it.
Similarly, it has taken decades to elevate CO2 in the atmosphere some 40% over pre-industrial levels, and it will take decades to reverse current atmospheric CO2 levels.
This doesn't mean we might as well give up and not try to fix big ecological problems, but results won't be obvious in our lifetimes.
It will cost money to return fire to its natural role in forests, which makes it tempting to do nothing. Unfortunately, doing nothing will be even more expensive, as losses due to conflagrations continue to mount year after year in the tens of billions of dollars. We might as well try doing something to solve this catastrophe.
Same with global warming. It will be expensive to do something to avoid warming, or also to do nothing, probably more or less equally expensive. We might as well try doing something to avoid potential catastrophe.
This presentation is dedicated to the memory of the Big Burn.
A memorial located just outside of Wallace, Idaho, is easy to get to and highly recommendable for gaining an appreciation of what happened here in 1910.